Live. Hello and welcome to another sales chat. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP Online Sales Magazine, Pipeliner CRM. This is our last sales chat of the year. As usual, I am joined by my colleague, Martha Neumeister, who is in Vienna.
Hi, guys.
Hi. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Nikolaus Kimla, founder and CEO of Pipeliner CRM. How are you doing, Nikolaus?
Doing well, thank you. Good morning, John.
Excellent. So those of you who are familiar with Sales Chat, if you want to join in, you join in on Twitter. The hashtag is hashtag SalesChats. Martha will be running the Twitter chat. If there's some interesting comments or questions, then she will interrupt the conversation and ask us directly. Okay, so we have Martha in Vienna. We have Nikolaus, who's up in Los Angeles. I am here in North County, San Diego. So wherever you are joining us today, I welcome you. And as I said, last sales chat of the year. The year's flown by. So we wanted to end by talking about CRM Megatrends, and nobody better to talk about it with than Nikolaus, who is the founder and the brains behind Pipeliner CRM. So to start with, Nikolaus, we were going into 2019. Okay, and there are still some companies that don't have CRM systems. Is that something that's sustainable as we move forward?
That's a very good question, and I basically think today the challenges are, as we all see, is the digital world, and we have a lot of companies, thousands, millions of companies. They are still in an analog process, and some of these companies have no clue really to enter into the digital world. And it's not only by selecting a CRM that makes you digital. This is just one part of the whole process. And I basically see this is the big challenge. You will be out of business in the next couple of years if you don't enter this process. This is like if you're in horse business, maybe there is some little businesses out there in the world, they still have horse businesses where you run, but everything was running out quickly and fast when the first automobile came onto the market. And the same will happen right now with the digital world. And many companies, I had even recently a customer, a prospect, and they have no clue between the lead tracking of trade shows, because they go to trade shows, and then what they do, they get the business cards, and they not even scan the business cards. They have not the business cards really digital. They get even from the trade shows some CSV files, but then where to put that? They all work with Excel files. So they are very, very analog. Yes, big change coming, 100%, very fast.
Yeah, so you can see, obviously, from that example that you just gave, obviously, they probably lose a lot of leads, probably fall through the crack.
Fall to the crack. Oh, 100%, 100%.
So what is one of the challenges that's facing when you're trying to talk to companies about CRM? I think one of the big challenges facing them is that CRM as a term, right, customer relationship management, has become conflated with so many other systems and ways of doing things, and that sometimes I don't think people really understand what a real CRM is.
Yeah, well, that goes very back to the basic of what we think is really doing. You see, technology today can do tremendous things, but the technology sometimes is moving faster than we as human beings are faster, and adopting technology. And we adopt only the things that are for us simple and easy. We adopt easily stuff where it brings an instant benefit to me. This is what we adopt in everything, because when I benefit from something, I adopt it. Why? Because it makes my life more in that area easy, what I have to accomplish maybe on my task. And sometimes we are too far away with the real thing that is happening. I am not against all that stuff that's happening, let's say, with going to Mars. No, nothing against that, and explore the universe. It's all good. But does this have an impact in my life, in my personal life, in the next 50 years? Probably not. And
unless there are some CRM prospects on Mars, probably not. No.
That would be interesting. Or prospecting on the way to Mars, because it takes 9 months. You have enough time. You have enough time to write emails. But no, I think the challenge will be in a high complex society we are in, and in the high complex of technology, that immediately translate to a benefit to the user. If it's the SDR, is it the sales rep, or the frontline guy who is in the field. That means he needs the best, easy mobile app where he can immediately find the customer, talk to the customer, make notes after the meeting where he has not to type that, or scan the business card and immediately goes there. So all what really is real, we have to get away from the fancy, funny, and not really stuff that doesn't help a company to be more productive. And the productivity is the key to the future. The productivity.
Yeah, so getting away from shiny new toys. So, so there's one thing that you touched on there that I think is interesting. How important is mobile going to become to CRM? Because there's a lot of CRM vendors who don't have mobile products or whatever, but we're becoming so much more mobile ourselves. So how much do you think mobile is critical to the future of CRM?
Well, that's such an easy answer to give to this question, because if John and you and I, we are going to a restaurant and we sit in the restaurant and we look around, I would say almost 70 to 80% of the people around doing what?
Yeah, on their phone.
On the phone. They're not speaking any longer to their neighbors. Yeah, they're just all sitting. So what I'm saying is the phone is absolutely entering in every part of our lives. Sometimes when you go to an airport, and we're flying a lot, it's amazing. People go there and you just run sometimes into people. Sometimes there you have to say, hey, come on, look at me. Yeah? So phone is absolutely the number one. Number two is there is more mobile devices out there than computers. And I strongly believe that if technology, as we see, the screens get bigger on the phones, the technology is better and better, and compared to the first smartphone that Steve Jobs presented today, and this is only 10 years ago, it's amazing the evolution of that. So definitely, our CRM will be mainly monitored and navigated and are handled on the phone in the next couple of years. Therefore, we give as Pipeline, as you know, we give a big impact on our whole developing side, and also on our, I would say, investigation, research, and everything into this area, because mobile will change how salespeople are entering the business out there, and when they are going and being with their customers, and are engaging with their customers, and how they want to reach them, and taking notes and stuff like that. So yes, 100%.
Yeah, and obviously 5G in the future will have an impact on that too, right?
Yeah, well, 5G, as we know, everything gets faster when we look at that. What are the new technology on the providers of the technology can do, and the Internet of Things? Because you see, we will get very soon, I would say, solutions where we can impact our things, or if it's working in the car. This will be very, very soon coming. Yeah, and so we give a big portion of our energy into mobile, and I make a little announcement. You will see that on the 24th of January, or around end of January. We are coming out with an unbelievable approach on mobile, and it will be the first AI-driven mobile solution in the world. And so, guys, you should look for that. I cannot do it at Christmas time. Yeah, after Christmas.
So that also leads us into another question about AI. Talk to me a little bit about how you see the future of AI in CRM. Because there's been a lot of hype about it from, some people have been saying, oh, AI is going to take over everything. And soon you don't need a salesperson. You just get the bots going.
But there is no question that algorithms are important, and the more we can automate some of that stuff, is helping us in a daily business. But the question is that are replacing us, or is that substituting, or is it supporting us? And in my opinion, what I can see with are, especially on the AI side, are no question that are all the algorithms that we are writing and how we can optimizing and getting out of the massive of data information, yeah, is what it helps me to get better decisions. So AI is the best supporting, in my
Mhm.
opinion, are a salesperson in the future, underlining technology, but it's not replacing me. I would even go further. I predict, I know some people hate that I do this, but I predict the same that happened with the computers. And when the first computers were coming into the offices, people said, oh, offices are the people will be replaced by computers. Look at that. We have more people working in offices today with computers. It's not less. We have more in that area. The same is in the hospital. Go to a hospital today when you are having and smart people. So we are generating to AI more salespeople, but smarter salespeople. Why? Because you get data and you have to analyze the data that you have there and make a decision. And that means you have to learn better what kind of data you're getting and what I can summarize out of the data and what is the decision that I have to make out of this data.
Yeah,
So
I think that makes complete sense. I mean, in a supportive role, because I still think at the end of the day, you need the human to interpret, right?
exactly. It's the human that makes the decision, because the human has to make then the action out of that. The AI is not making an action out of that. Yeah, because you see, if I get all the data, for instance, from my customers out of AI, I know they are A customers. They are that means they are my best customers out of the segmentation of my customers profiling. I know they are in a transition because I saw that maybe on media, and AI is telling me already on the content side. I know that maybe there is a new salesperson coming to the company as the head of sales into this company, and it's my, so what I have to do? Oh, send them an automatic email. What is that for bullshit? The first thing what you should do is to act what it is, building the relationship. But AI gives me all the information, and then I call and say, well, oh, John, you took this new position in this company. Unbelievable. I know it's a big challenge. I'm here to support you. We are a vendor. We have the software sold to you guys. I know you are coming in. If there's anything I can do for you, is there anything I can support you, I will be there. Have a great day, and I don't want to bother you. What do you think this customer is thinking?
Yeah,
Out of the blue, the
yeah.
call is coming.
Well, they're thinking that you're definitely on the ball, right?
On the ball.
On the ball, and you're intelligent in your approach, because you're not just calling up and saying something generic. You're saying something very specific.
Exactly. And this is where I see AI. So AI will bring all the information together, filter the information out of algorithms, that they are not complicated to do in prioritization. And then immediately I can really say and act on, but as a supporter. And this
Hmm.
is why we call our AI Voyager, because it's out there. By the way, it's an interesting story. Just quickly to notice, this week Voyager 2 has entered the interstellar, so
Right.
it's out of the system the first time. And the
Mm.
information to send that back, I was not knowing that. I was reading that. It was so interesting. I have to write about that something. Is from the sun to Earth, our light speed of information. It's about 6 minutes.
Wow.
Where Voyager is today, it takes 16.5 hours. Can
Wow.
you
So,
imagine how far this is away in over 40 years? It's amazing. Yeah.
mm,
So we're out there, but they haven't found anything right now.
yeah. Unlike the pipeline of Voyager, which is constantly finding
Finding good information. Yeah.
So here's another trend, I think, and something that I know you gave a speech at the Sales 3.0 conference in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and that is there was a trend over the last number of years about trying to build kind of all-in-one systems that looked after sales, marketing, support, everything, and put them all in one system so you buy from one vendor. But that's changing again because that doesn't really work, and that's changing again with the whole developments and integration. So, can you talk a little bit about why all-in-one is didn't work, and why best of breed and integration is the way of the future?
Yeah, oh sure. And I can give you a very good example and compare it to where every one of us is are probably experienced that on almost on a daily basis. In the old days, there was only one doctor. 100
Mhm.
years ago, and he was a generalist. Yeah, and you were going to him if you have teeth problems, if your heart problem, lung problems, you got fever. I got a little bit of flu right now because I was in Europe, and you go to the doctor and he gives you some medicine and everything. But when you go today to a doctor, what do you expect? Sure, you have a generalist, but then he's sending you immediately to the specialist. You wouldn't go to a normal general practitioner when you have really your teeth problem. Come on, yeah, it would be dangerous. And if you have a heart problem, you go to the cardiologist, and you
Mhm.
go to the pulmonologist, or you go to dermatologist. Yeah, and it's getting specialized in the medicine. Well, think about that in technology in other areas. Or for instance, in marketing, it's complex in support, in ticketing system. So there is, from the complexity, not even possible intellectually that one company can cover all. We have right now over 7,000 different SaaS businesses in the world. I would say maybe not all of them are equally important,
Mhm.
yeah, and many of them are competing against each other. But at the end of the day, it shows that the different kinds of categories we have already, it's growing, and it's impossible that you have that all in one.
Yeah.
Because some companies are specializing, like the guy who is a dentist. And even in the dentist area, as we know today, there is different kinds of dentists. It's not
Yeah.
only one that, oh my
Mm.
goodness, there is even different kinds of doctors around there just specializing in one area. So this is coming, um, and we need people that are focusing on the core things of their profession. And my prediction is that the CRM is the hub in the middle and has to be seamless, connecting all the other surrounding technologies. But
Yeah.
it's the hub, and that
Yeah.
is the core. Yeah.
So why do you? I mean, and that's a good thing for people to take away. So, if you're focusing on one thing right now, you should really be focusing on the hub, on the core of CRM. So why do you say CRM is the hub?
Well, what is the core of a business are they are in? It's companies and people and
Mhm.
activities that you have with people. It's about you want to know about who is your customer, how many are products or services you have sold to them, who is the process behind that, what kind of activity it is, what kind of people working there, when I have on my calendar the next appointments with them, how is that in my lead and opportunity system. That's the core of every business. Yeah? And the business is, without customers there is no business. Yeah?
Right.
And,
So you
and
could
therefore
buy all the other systems.
you can buy everything. You can buy the best calling system in the world, but if you have no customer to call to, it will no. So this is the hub, and it's not. This is the center of everything.
So what are some of the other
It goes
predictions?
back, John. It goes back to really customer relationship management. Yeah,
Right.
and that is, but managing the relationship. Yeah, managing what really it is all about of that. And I think there we are going really to the core, and this is where we go back, or where it originally was generated.
So, tell me what other predictions or trends you see for the future. I mean, one of the ones that we've talked a lot, you and I, over the last while, has really been end-to-end customer experience, and I think that's a key one. But what are some of the other ones you think?
Um, the easiness are to handle data. we are all overwhelmed with data. There's so much data out there and information, and we need the right data at the right time. And also, the data entering is gone. It should be so simple. It starts with if you have a duplication of data, or if you have the correct email addresses and all of that stuff. So everything is around, in my opinion, how easy we can really handle data. Data has to be correct, because the data is, we predicting some stuff on basis on data. And if these data are not correct, well, we recently did a project in our company. I don't know if you were involved in that, but the point was sending out some boxes to customers. Yeah. And we managed the data. Our people were looking at the data, but then we used another company matching the data against the codes that are out there, and it was a fulfilling company, so they have the best data. Still, we got a lot of packages back. That is bad, because it's a lot of money that is wasted. So data is the future, to analyze the data, to have the data entry, and to understand the data, and then to work on the data that you are getting. I think that is one of the core things that we definitely are concentrating on.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, as you said, I mean, we're getting bombarded with so much data. And we're all distracted all of the time. I think another thing. Talk to me a little bit about. So you need the correct data, and then you need to have data that specifically works for you. So being able to focus is obviously a big thing, because we have a lot of systems that'll throw a lot of data at you, but how you end up with the correct data and data that's meaningful for you is the most critical thing, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, because you see the data, you work on data. If someone like I recently got also a couple of our personal mail in that area where someone was trying to address me, and my name was not even wrong. It was not even right in spelling, but completely wrong. Yeah. So then I feel, my goodness, how they want to address me. Yeah. So this is not very it's not really helpful. Yeah. So this is definitely something that has to change, and the CRM has to help and support the different areas, the salespeople, that when they call, that they have the right number, when they are email, it's not bouncing back, or when they are just visiting the address, maybe they're on the wrong address, and all of that's happen on a daily basis. Yeah.
So what would you say to companies who maybe are considering implementing CRM next year, or you're changing CRM, and they're worried about, they hear all the statistics about low adoption rates, and it's a long time to roll it out, and there's a lot of business interruption, and the total cost of ownership goes up. What advice would you give to somebody like that?
In my opinion, the transition that a company is doing to implement the CRM system, what is the core, what you need to do, there is no question. Every company in the future has to have a CRM, whatever the business is, because you have to manage your data. But at the same time, you cannot try from the beginning on to boil the ocean at once. It's not possible. Why? Because you cannot fix all the problem at the same time. You have to start, what is the core? And the core is my relationship to my customers, and I want to sell more. So you have to start there, in that area, how I can optimize my process in selling, how I can optimize my process with my people to get the leads and to work on the leads and to close the leads. And I need to understand, what is the correlation, how many leads I need to close something, or how is that working in all of that. And if I optimized it, then I go maybe the next step, and then I say, oh, I want to have more the custom centric and about speaking with my customer, and I want to record everything, and I want to proactive go after the customer, what the customer is doing. But you see, if you want to start with everything, you never start. And this is what we sometimes see. And the digital process has to start somewhere. I know it's not an easy one. Therefore, it needs a system that is helping you, but also people that help you in the transition.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think that's where a lot of these implementations fall down. Is you're completely correct. Is that they try to do everything at once, or just because you have a system that does, all of these things, it doesn't mean you have to load them on immediately, right? You do them in logical sequences. So we're coming towards the end of our time here, Nikolaus. For those of you who aren't familiar with Pipeliner, do you want to just give us your elevator pitch right now on what makes Pipeliner unique in the CRM space?
No, that's great. First of all, what we have tried to do is, because we know that today people are when they walk around, a picture can immediately transport an information, a lot of information, very easy. And so what we have tried very hard, and we do that is, and I think Steve Jobs once said that in a very interesting speech that he gave, the hardest thing, the hardest thing is to make things simple. And what is the simplest thing is, like, when we go back in history, it was some pictures that were drawn. And when you have a picture and everybody understands the same, then you have not a lot to explain. So our biggest, I would say, effort in the last years, or from the beginning, always was how we can make Pipeliner, and not in dashboards, and not only in some graphical stuff, in every area, visual. Why? Because then it's explaining you and exactly immediately helping you to understand, and therefore what you like, you engage. Because what you see is, oh, I like that, this is visual for me, interesting, then I'm engaging. And this is the important thing. If you engage in a software and you use it because you use what you like, this is what I think, then you have a better engagement rate. And all about this in the future, to engage people. Engagement is in any area of our society important, not only in the CRM space.
Yeah, and I think you're correct. And I think given the, as we talked about earlier, how bombarded and distracted people are, what can capture their attention quickly is obviously going to win out, and that's what Pipeliner does. So before we leave, also we'd like you to share a power tip with our viewers. What is something that you do, Nikolaus, personally, to set yourself up for success, either at the start of every day or during the day? What's something that you do that you want to share with other people?
Wow. I would say what I do on a daily basis, I'm trying to do that on a daily basis, is besides that, I go and shower. I hope everybody's doing that too. Yeah, make a shower to clean my body and to be fresh, and the people around me are appreciating that. Yeah. I also try on a daily basis to clean my thought process, because also there is a lot going on of the information, and I have to focus. It's not a long thing. I have a methodology for that, but I have to clean my thoughts too. There's so much noise there, and I have to get that away. It's like when you go running, you're sweating, and you get the sweat away. The same is I'm doing on a daily basis, to focus my thoughts on the real important thing, what I have to accomplish today. And before I do that, I'm getting the thoughts away, and to learn to focus on that.
Yeah,
I hope
no, I think that's great. Thank you, Nikolaus. I think that's fantastic because, as I said, I think people are bombarded and they're getting themselves so distracted. And there's a statistic from the psychology today that 78% of people's thoughts on a daily basis are negative, right? Negative self-talk. So just think about that. If you go through an exercise like you're talking about, you could give yourself a real competitive advantage by reversing that ratio.
and think that for salespeople, most salespeople are hearing 80% or more a no.
Yeah.
What does that mean to me? Because when I get constantly rejected, or what other workforces are never experienced, because you see, a judge is never rejected, or in some areas, other professional people in some areas, and so it's especially for salespeople important to clean their thought process.
Yeah. Well, you can try saying no to a judge. It's never a good idea.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
we come to the end. Thank you, Nicholas. Pipeliner, Nikolaus Kimla, founder, CEO, Pipeliner CRM, pipelinersales.com for those of you who want to go look at Pipeliner. Martha in Vienna, how was the Twitter chat today?
Interesting. So the people were predicted almost the same things like you.
Oh, very good. Excellent. So we're all on the same page. John Golden, SalesPOP Online Sales Magazine, Pipeliner CRM. See you all again in the new year for the first sales chat of 2019. So thanks everybody who listened this year, and we look forward
thank
to a
you.
great year next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.